Ever get that feeling, that prickle on the back of your neck?
Yeah.
When everything looks fine, but your gut is just screaming that something's wrong.
Totally, that little nudge of unease.
Exactly. That what if. You try to shake it off, right? Just paranoia, overactive imagination.
Right. But what happens when, those feelings turn out to be spot on, like rooted in real danger, or sometimes it's something you just can't explain?
Well, and that's exactly what we're diving into today, that weird place where intuition meets reality.
We've gathered this really fascinating collection of firsthand accounts. Some are genuinely chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, where that first feeling, that unease, was totally confirmed later by some pretty unsettling, sometimes terrifying events.
Okay, so where are these stories from?
Well, it's a mix. We've got personal stories from places like Reddit and Bored Panda, those really raw perspectives.
Right, the immediate stuff.
Exactly. But also some documented, unexplained occurrences from the Indiana State Museum, kind of looking at historical oddities. And we'll touch on some unsolved disappearances too, drawing from popular mechanics. Because often, sadly, the family's anxiety turns out to be horrifyingly right.
Okay, so for you listening, your mission basically is to come with us through these stories.
Yeah, let's unpack them.
We want to pull out the key bits, understand the whole range of experiences from like near misses with actual human threats to stuff that just seems, well, inexplicable.
Our goal is really to get some insight into how we pick up on those signals, danger or just something weird, and how people react when those feelings get validated.
Okay, let's get into it then. Starting with those times where that nagging feeling was a warning about very real human dangers.
Absolutely. Let's kick off with one that taps into a really primal fear: the safety of your own home.
Okay.
This is an account from a mother with a young child, first floor apartment, and the first sign something was off: their cat.
The cat, how so?
Well, it was sitting in the mother's bedroom doorway, which apparently it never did at night. It usually slept at them. Kind of fascinating how animals sometimes seem to sense things we miss, isn't it?
It really is. It immediately sets off alarm bells, like even the pet knows something's wrong.
Exactly.
And then it just gets worse. The mother wakes up, sees her child sitting up, the cat's meowing in her doorway.
Right.
And in those few seconds it takes her to properly wake up, they both look back and there's a man standing in the child's bedroom doorway, actually coming out.
Ugh, terrifying. Just how fast things can go wrong.
Right. And the mother's reaction is just pure instinct.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah.
She grabs the kid, throws him out the screen window. Luckily, ground floor, so not a huge drop.
Thank goodness.
She follows right after. They scream, "Neighbors here, call the police." It's that, adrenaline surge a parent gets.
Totally. But here's where it gets really strange, right?
Yeah. The police check things out. No forced entry. None. Except the front door is unlocked.
And the mother is adamant she locked it. Deadbolt and chain.
Absolutely certain. And that's what's so unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah.
When reality clashes with what you know you did. Makes you doubt everything.
It really does. Your own memory, the security you thought you had.
And it gets darker. A week later, the mother finds stuff hidden in the water heater closet.
What kind of stuff?
A notebook, with names and drawings, gloves, gum wrappers.
Oh, wow.
And the police theory: the intruder might have already been inside, hiding, waiting for them to fall asleep.
That is just a chilling thought, someone lurking in your home.
It really underlines how meticulous predators can be, and just that awful feeling of violation, even without a broken window or kicked-in door.
Truly terrifying. Okay, moving on, we've got another one where the unease was about a specific person, the mother's new boyfriend.
Ah, yes. Initially, the narrator and their wife just found him a little creepy.
How so?
Quiet, often kept his eyes closed, made weird comments.
Like?
Well, the narrator mentioned something about him moaning over chocolate, just odd stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's quirky at best.
And he'd spend hours alone in the mother's bedroom when they visited, door closed. Just contributed to this feeling that something wasn't quite right. Not overtly threatening, but, off.
Those little social cues that just ping your internal radar.
Exactly. So then, they break up. On Christmas Eve, no less.
Ouch.
Narrator and wife were at the mother's house. Next day, they're snowed in at the narrator's dad's place, and the wife suddenly gets this really bad feeling about the ex. Insists they have to check on the mother.
Wow, talk about gut feelings, even with no real evidence.
Yeah, and what they find, or think they find, is shocking.
What?
They get there and see what looks like blood oozing out of the refrigerator's water dispenser.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, instantly alarming. They're bracing for the absolute worst, thinking maybe he'd hurt her. The tension must have been unbelievable.
Well, I can only imagine that's your mind just jumping to the worst conclusion based on that bad feeling.
Only. It wasn't blood.
What was it?
Melted frozen cherries.
Cherries. Oh man, talk about anticlimactic.
Right. But it really shows how that unease, fueled by his weird behavior, just sent their minds spiraling. A good reminder that our anxieties, while feeling very real, don't always match up with reality.
Still, that initial feeling was there for a reason, even if the conclusion was wrong. Okay, let's shift gears. The white SUV story.
Ah, yes. This one's about a different kind of unease, persistent observation. So this involves a young woman whose younger sibling, maybe 8 to 11 years old, would often follow her outside when she went to smoke in their carport.
Yes.
And this white SUV starts showing up. Mid-90s model, maybe.
Yeah.
Bike rack, really tinted windows. Just appears at the end of their driveway.
And just sits there.
Just sits there watching. And the unnerving part is the pattern. It would wait until the sister went outside.
Oh, okay. That feels deliberate. That feeling of being watched is horrible.
It really is. That sense of being targeted. You don't know who's inside or what they want. Then the SUV would drive off, go to a nearby church parking lot, and wait till she came out again, day after day.
Oh, wow. That persistence is terrifying in itself.
Exactly. Even seemingly passive behavior can create intense fear. The sister tried to ignore it at first, but eventually she just felt utter terror.
Couldn't even approach the car?
Nope, just paralyzed by fear.
Yeah.
It's like that instinct kicks in, screaming danger before your rational mind catches up.
Yeah, your body just knows sometimes. So what happened?
Well, the situation escalates when their dad, who happened to be a sheriff's deputy, was home.
Okay, good timing.
SUV shows up again. Sister tells her dad. He comes out, gun visible, and the SUV just floors it, peels out of there.
Ooh.
And here's the kicker. The license plate was covered in duct tape.
Oh, chills. Okay, that confirms it wasn't just someone being weird. That's intent.
Absolutely moves it from creepy to potentially criminal. Thankfully, they never saw it again after that.
Still, that feeling must have lingered, wondering who it was, what they wanted. Scary stuff.
Definitely. Now, the next one, it takes a really tragic turn. It shows how danger can come from unexpected connections.
Okay.
This is about a young girl murdered by her mother's acquaintance's sister. And it seems to start from just kindness. The mother was helping a woman at work. Learned this woman's sister had just gotten out of a mental institution.
Just an innocent piece of information.
Exactly. But it unknowingly set the stage for horror. It highlights how unpredictable people can be.
So what happened?
One night, the narrator's friend, not the narrator themselves, but their friend was home alone with her younger brother. Mom's at work. There's a knock. She thinks it's her mom.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was the sister of the woman the mom had been helping. She'd somehow found out where they lived, knew the mom's work schedule.
That's terrifying premeditation.
It is. The friend, who actually wasn't even supposed to be there that night, managed to escape through a window.
Thank God. But the little girl.
What happened next was brutal. The little girl was murdered, decapitated, her head hidden. The details aren't fully laid out, thankfully, but the horror is clear.
That's absolutely sickening, just from a chance connection at work.
It's a terrible reminder that danger isn't always obvious.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes from the most unexpected places. Fragility of safety, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's shift slightly. Another story about fear inside the home. Two sisters.
Right, sisters home alone, late 80s, early 90s, and they were watching a crime show about a quiet neighbor who, snapped.
Oh, great timing. That probably put them on edge already.
You'd think so, yeah. Power of suggestion is strong. And then reality seems to imitate the show. They hear loud banging on the front door.
Just bang.
Loud banging, followed by the sound of the glass storm door closing. So someone definitely opened the outer door to bang on the inner one.
Okay, that's instantly alarming. Someone's right there at your door.
Definitely triggers that fight or flight. And then it gets worse. They hear the back door knob turning. See it turning.
Oh, no!
Someone's trying the handle. Then violent shading. Trying to force the back door open, the whole wall of windows is vibrating.
I must have been terrified. Trapped.
Overwhelmingly so. One sister lets out this terrified scream. They run, barricade themselves in a bedroom.
Did they call someone?
Managed to call a friend's parents, thankfully. They came over.
Did they find anything? The person?
That's the unsettling part. They only found scuff marks on the back door.
Ugh.
No obvious signs of forced entry being successful. just the marks.
So who was it? What did they want? That ambiguity is almost worse sometimes.
It really can be. Leaves you jumpy, questioning noises.
Okay, next story shifts to the road. A really bizarre encounter. The trunk and the screaming girlfriend.
Oh yeah, this one sounded weird.
Starts with simple road rage, right? Narrator gets honked at, flips the other car off.
Never a good idea, but okay.
Yeah. The other driver gets out, walks back to his trunk and starts to open it.
Okay, that's potentially very bad.
But it's the passenger's reaction that makes this so creepy. The woman in the passenger seat, girlfriend, maybe, starts crying, screaming.
Screaming what?
Begging him not to open the trunk. Don't open it. Please don't open it. Just frantic. Whoa. Okay. Suggests something awful is inside.
Exactly. The narrator is just frozen, mind-racing, imagining what could possibly be in there. Her reaction is what signals real potential danger.
So what happened? Did he open it?
No. He slams it shut, glares at the narrator, gets back in the car, and they speed off.
Leaving the narrator just wondering. That what if is terrifying.
It really is. Such a brief encounter, but it hints at some hidden, possibly dark reality happening just below the surface.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, next up, something a bit different. The peephole figure.
Right. More isolated, but still very unsettling. Narrator's home alone at night. Doorbell rings.
Always creepy when you're alone at night.
Totally. So they're cautious. Don't turn on the porch light. Just look through the peephole.
And see.
Something bizarre. A small, dark figure. Maybe 3 or 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it's doing this weird dancing motion, like dipping down, oscillating his arms like wings.
Dancing, that's not what you expect. Just the strangeness makes it creepy.
Completely. Defies any easy explanation. The narrator said it looked sort of opaque against the darkness, and then after a few moments, poof, gone.
Just vanished. No explanation.
None. Just leaves that lingering sense of, what the heck did I just see? Our minds really struggle with the anomalous, don't they?
They really do. Okay, last one in this section. The house on the cul-de-sac. This sounded like a mix of things.
Yeah, this one feels like it blurs the lines a bit. Childhood home, cul-de-sac. Starts with just a general creepy feeling about this old, rusted trailer in the backyard.
Just a vibe.
Yeah, like the place itself felt wrong somehow. Common theme, actually. Then the sisters start seeing weird lights in their room. Parents dismiss it, screen lights, you know.
Typical parent response sometimes.
Right. Hard for kids to get validation for scary experiences. But then the narrator has their own experience. Wakes up suddenly feeling intensely angry.
Angry, not scared.
Angry, yeah, which is interesting. And sees a figure in the doorway. Tall, dark, but with a single red glowing light, like a cigarette cherry.
Whoa, okay, that's specific.
They call out for their parents, no response. Figure vanishes. The sudden emotion plus the weird visual is really unsettling.
Did anything else happen?
Yeah. Later, something tugs on their blankets. Adds that physical element, makes it feel more real than just a dream or seeing something.
And the shared nightmares.
Right. Years later, both the narrator and their sister realized they had recurring nightmares involving the same area of the house, the den kitchen, and a man being there.
Shared nightmares. That's eerie. Makes you wonder if there was something about that house.
Or just shared anxiety manifesting similarly. Hard to say, but it definitely leaves you wondering.
Okay, so that covers quite a range of human threats, or at least really unsettling human behavior, prompted by that initial gut feeling.
But like we said, the sources also go into encounters that are harder to explain rationally, things that lean more towards the paranormal or just plain bizarre.
Right, where that feeling of wrongness seems tied to something else.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that side of things now.
Okay, let's start with something that exists right on the edge of reality and perception. Sleep paralysis.
Ah, yeah. Always creepy.
We have an account from someone who gets it regularly, and always with the same terrifying hallucination.
For anyone who doesn't know, sleep paralysis is basically when you wake up mentally, but your body is still asleep, you can't move, and you often hallucinate.
Exactly. Which is scary enough on its own.
Totally.
But this person hears whispers all around, feels pressure on their chest, and then sees a little girl, white lace dress, long black hair, sitting on them, back turned.
Ugh, classic uncanny valley stuff. Innocent image made terrifying.
And it gets worse. The girl slowly starts to turn her head. The whispers get louder.
Oh, no.
The person always forces their eyes shut before they can see the face. But even with eyes closed, the pressure increases, the whispers become deafening. Then silence.
Wow. Even knowing it's likely a hallucination tied to the paralysis, that sounds absolutely visceral and terrifying.
It really highlights how powerful the mind is, creating these incredibly real sensory experiences.
Definitely shows how our brains can cook up some truly frightening stuff in that state. Okay, next. Apartment complex mysteries.
Yeah, 2 weird stories from complexes the narrator's mother managed. The first one starts innocently enough with a ghost story.
How so?
Mom tells the kids this spooky tale about the vacant apartment above them. Says 2 little boys, and their mom died there, and you can still hear their footsteps.
Setting the mood.
Totally. And right after she finishes the story, they hear running upstairs.
Oh, come on. Perfect timing. Eerie coincidence.
Mom freaks out, understandably. But the explanation, not ghosts.
Oh, what was it?
A homeless mother and her 2 kids.
Right.
They'd snuck in through an open window and were living there.
Oh, wow. Still unsettling, but in a very different, very human way.
Exactly. A good reminder to check for logical explanations first, even when things feel supernatural.
Okay, but there was a second incident. You said it was more disturbing.
Much more. Different complex. Mom and narrator are checking vacant units, find one unlocked.
Never a good sign.
Nope. Mom goes into the master bedroom and screams.
Oh, God. What did they find?
Narrator runs in, finds a girl, half naked, pale as snow, nails dug into the wall, clearly being assaulted or just having been.
Horrifying. A real immediate danger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As the narrator runs to get help, they see a man bolting out of the kitchen. Chase happens, but he gets away.
Just awful. But brave of them to intervene. Stark contrast to the ghost story, isn't it? Real-world threats.
Powerful reminder, yeah. Okay, next is quite different. It deals with trauma and how it can manifest, the dead father, and the recurring nightmare.
Ah, this sounds heavy.
It's deeply personal, yeah. About grief, PTSD. The narrator found their father deceased,
Oh, that's terrible.
and the trauma led to this recurring nightmare. They dreamed they were approaching the living room, knowing what they were about to see, but they'd wake up screaming before actually seeing the body in the dream.
Like an avoidance mechanism.
Exactly. Common with trauma. The mind trying to protect itself. This went on for about a year, really impacting their life.
How did it stop?
They describe having a kind of mental break, where they were forced in their mind to finally relive the moment fully, to see their father's body, and after that, the nightmare stopped.
Wow. Confronting it head-on, even mentally, brought some peace.
It seems so. But trauma is complex. Years later, deployed in Iraq, the nightmares came back.
What triggered it?
Seeing a child run out in front of their convoy.
Oh.
The dream shifted, morphed, and suddenly they were finding their father's body again. Woke up screaming, disoriented.
Shows how deep that trauma runs, how easily it can be reactivated by new stress, blurring past and present.
Exactly. A really powerful illustration of trauma's grip. Okay, shifting gears again. Nana's chilling experience. This one feels more direct connection, maybe.
Okay.
This is the narrator's grandmother. Her friend's ex-husband, who was known to be depressed, calls her. Shortly after, Nana hears her front gate open. She said it was a very loud, distinctive gate.
Right.
And the family dog, usually calm, starts growling like crazy at the door.
Yeah.
But nobody comes in.
Weird. Dog sensing something.
Maybe. Then Nana feels physically strange. Frozen. Icy cold, even though the fire's on. Lasts about 2 minutes. Then, suddenly, calm. Serenity. And she hears the gate open again, like someone leaving.
Okay, that is strange, the physical coldness.
And the timing. The next morning, they get the news.
What?
The friend's ex-husband had committed suicide. Around the exact time Nana had those weird feelings and heard the gate, their houses were only a 10-minute walk apart.
Whoa, that's quite a coincidence. Makes you wonder if she somehow sensed it.
It's that kind of story that fuels ideas about ESP or some kind of spiritual connection around death, doesn't it?
It really does. Hard to explain away easily.
Okay, next, Ouija board. Those stories are always creepy.
Yeah, this one happened to the narrator's mother when she was a teen. Cautionary tale, maybe.
Sleepover.
Sleepover. Playing with a Ouija board, didn't really know what it was. They asked the spirit to show itself.
Oh,
Boom. All the lights in the house go out. Then immediately back on.
okay. That got my attention.
Right. First sign, something's up. Then the board spells out DEVIL.
Nope. Time to stop playing.
You'd think. But things escalate fast. They see a terrifying shape in the TV reflection. The whole house gets freezing cold.
Like physically cold.
Yeah. Then loud noises from the kitchen. Sounds like stuff flying around.
Okay, this is getting serious. Poltergeist activity.
Oh, sounds like it.
No.
And the night ends with them hearing sounds of chains dragging and dogs barking on the roof.
On the roof. That's incredibly bizarre.
And the really compelling part, the friend's parents who were home also heard the sounds on the roof.
Okay, corroboration. That adds a whole other layer. No wonder she hates Ouija boards now.
Exactly. Genuinely creepy account. Okay, slightly less dramatic, but still weird. The Black Dog by Walmart.
A black dog.
Yeah, but described as unnaturally black, like an absence of light, and incredibly fast.
Huh. Weird description. Seen where?
Near a Walmart, consistently. The narrator saw it, felt this weird dread. Then the boyfriend saw it separately. Other people reported seeing the same or a very similar, strange black dog in that same area.
Multiple independent sightings. That's odd. Yeah. Was it just a real dog with a weird look? Or something else? It's enigmatic.
Leaves you wondering. Okay, high school hauntings next. Rocking chairs and auditoriums.
Yeah, classic haunted location stuff. A teacher working late hears doors slamming, checks, nobody there.
Standard ghost story trope.
Pretty much. Then there's this advisor who takes kids on ghost hunts in the school auditorium.
Seriously? Okay.
During one hunt, prop spears just crash down onto the stage. Auditorium's locked, trap door under the stage, padlock for the top.
So no easy explanation for how they fell.
Seemingly not.
Yeah.
Later, a bucket gets thrown across the same auditorium. Physical manifestations.
And the rocking chair.
Yeah, a teacher sitting in the auditorium alone, stands up, turns around, and the chair is just rocking back and forth by itself.
Okay, yeah. That's creepy. Multiple staff having experiences.
Yep. Some refuse to be there alone at night. Suggests a persistent feeling that something's off in that school. Shared experiences always make these things feel a bit more solid.
True. Still anecdotal, but more compelling.
Huh.
All right, the Toronto warehouse one. This sounded really strange from the outline.
Oh, this one is just bizarre, doesn't cover it. Total WTF territory.
Lay on me.
Narrator, after a concert in Toronto, gets picked up, maybe arrested, by police in an unmarked car.
Police, in quotes.
Taken to this place that looks like a warehouse, but maybe it's a makeshift hospital. They take large amounts of blood.
What? Why?
No idea. Then they strap the narrator to a bed in a dark room. Narrator passes out.
This sounds like a terrifying abduction scenario.
It really does. Next thing they know, they wake up in some bushes beside a Burger King.
What the Burger King?
Yeah. Possessions are still there, wallet, phone, but zero memory of how they got from the dark room to the bushes.
That is profoundly unsettling. The lost time, the blood draw, the unmarked car.
Completely. Highly unusual, potentially sinister, even if they weren't, like, physically injured in the end. What happened in that lost time?
Yeah.
Chilling.
Sounds like a movie plot. Okay, wow, let's move to the farmer and the child.
Right. This one's intriguing because it involves a young kid seemingly knowing things he shouldn't.
How so?
The little boy asks his mom about Grandma. He uses a specific nickname for his mother that only the grandmother used, a nickname the boy couldn't possibly have known.
Okay, that's weird. How did he know it?
He says, "The farmer told me."
The farmer? Who's the farmer?
Apparently, an unseen entity the boy was talking to. It seemed like this farmer would leave if the boy's dad came into the room.
So like an imaginary friend, but with impossible knowledge.
Seems like it. But the ending is the weirdest part.
Yeah.
The boy overhears his mom talking to Grandma, maybe on the phone, maybe something else. And Grandma supposedly says the boy and the farmer can't be friends anymore. The boy never mentions the farmer again, ever.
Whoa, that's strange. Suggests some kind of connection or intervention, maybe? The specific nickname is hard to dismiss.
It really is. Okay, next, a bit more grounded but still odd. The cemetery cat.
A cat leading someone to a grave.
Basically, yeah. The cat starts persistently rubbing on its owner, meowing, leading them out the door.
Like Lassie, but a cat.
Kind of. Leads the owner straight to a nearby graveyard and directly to one specific gravestone.
And just stops there.
Jumps on top of it, refuses to move, hisses when the owner tries to pick her up. Just fixated on this one grave.
Any significance to the grave?
Get this. Turns out it belonged to someone who used to live and actually died in the owner's house.
No way. That adds a whole layer of connection. Was the cat sensing something? A presence?
Who knows? But it's a touching, strange story about animal intuition, maybe? Their sensitivity to things we miss.
Beautiful and eerie. Okay, the next one sounds darker, though. Stacked boxes. After a cat's death.
Yeah, this one escalates. Starts with general unease after a weird visit from a man dressed all in black. Then their beloved black Persian cat, Mercedes, gets suddenly sick and dies.
Oh, sad.
And in her final moments, she was hissing at something unseen in the corner of the room.
Okay, creepy foreshadowing.
Seems like it might have been a catalyst. After the cat died, weird stuff started happening in the house. Unexplained footprints, noises, wallpaper getting torn.
Classic haunting signs.
And the mother starts claiming she's seeing demonic creatures. becomes really withdrawn, scared.
That's alarming. Real or psychological, that's serious.
Definitely. But the climax is when the narrator, who has severe asthma, has a bad attack one night. They wake up struggling to breathe, look over, and all the boxes that were in the room are stacked neatly in a wall between them and their mother's side of the room, blocking her.
What? Stacked? By who or what?
Exactly. Intentionally separating the vulnerable narrator from help. It's a chilling image. The narrator, even as a skeptic, couldn't explain it.
Truly frightening. Okay, next is another visual one. Tall, dark figure.
Right, sounds like another sleep-wake boundary thing, but terrifying nonetheless.
Like sleep paralysis again?
Possibly hypnagogic hallucination, seeing things as you wake up or fall asleep. Narrator wakes from a bad dream, looks over, and sees this tall, dark, hooded figure sitting on the other couch in the room.
Oh man, what did it look like?
Classic creepy figure. Dark robe, arms crossed, head down. Silent, just sitting there.
That image is deeply unsettling in so many cultures.
Totally. Narrator feels like time stretches, pure fear, scrambles to find something, anything to defend themselves with. They kind of fully snap awake, look back, and there's nothing there. Couch is empty.
So, likely a hallucination, but the terror felt absolutely real.
Exactly. Shows how our brains can create experiences that feel 100% real, even if they aren't objectively there.
Yeah. Okay, the jiggling doorknob. This sounds more low-key but persistent.
Yeah, it plays on that home security fear again. Narrator wakes up one sunny afternoon, home alone, hears a doorknob jiggling upstairs, knows the specific sound of that type of old doorknob.
Okay, but maybe the wind settling house.
Goes upstairs to check, finds no one, all the doors are open, nothing seems disturbed, goes back downstairs, falls back asleep,
And then?
woken up again. This time, the doorknob is jiggling violently.
Oh, okay, that's different. Not subtle anymore.
Checks again, nothing. Confirms parents are definitely still at work at that point. Decides, nope, I'm out. Leaves the house.
Can't blame them. Even without seeing anyone, that's deeply unsettling. An auditory thing can be just as scary.
Definitely creates that sense of vulnerability. Okay, the car with the OM license plate. This one sounded like it had layers.
Yeah, seemed ominous.
Starts with the narrator's brother being followed late at night. Red compact car. Distinctive license plate. Black background, big white O, big green M, OM.
OM, okay, unusual plate.
And weird stuff happens during the chase. Phone loses service.
Yeah.
Radio picks up a weird station. Adds to the creepy atmosphere.
Like something interfering.
Maybe. The OM car matches their speed, plays cat and mouse. They try to lose it, pull over, wait, then pull out. Boom, OM is right behind them again after they go around a curve.
Yeah.
Seems deliberate, menacing.
Just the following is creepy enough, but you said there was more.
Yeah, the epilogues are what make this one really chilling. Years later, someone mentions reading about a murder in another state. The witness saw a car fleeing the scene.
Don't tell me.
Red compact car, license plate OM, black O, green M.
Get out! Same exact description. Years later, different state. That's incredibly disturbing.
Isn't it? And there's another story. A friend has a terrifying encounter years after that, being chased by the same car, same OM plate, down a dark canyon road.
Okay, multiple sightings connected to a crime. This OM car sounds like something out of a horror movie, way beyond
It
coincidence.
really feels speculation, doesn't it? Makes it feel much more sinister. Okay, couple more quick ones. The blaring horn.
Right, just a car horn going off.
Middle of the night, narrator hears their mom's car horn just blaring constantly outside. Goes out to check, nobody in the car. Looks around, nobody nearby. Then the horn just stops, abruptly.
Weird malfunction, maybe.
Could be. But right after the horn stops, they see something run through the house.
Inside the house? What?
Yeah, it's like a blur of movement. They chase it, it
Yeah.
runs toward the back sliding glass door, which is closed,
Yeah.
and then nothing. It's gone.
Whoa. Okay, the timing makes it seem connected. The horn stops, something runs. Bizarre.
Totally. Was it a weird short circuit? Or something else triggered it? And what ran through the house? Unexplained.
Creepy. Okay, the voice from the bedroom. Familiar voice.
Yeah, this is brief but very strange. Narrator and their dad get home super early one morning, like 4 or 5 a.m. As they walk in, they both hear the narrator's mother's voice call out from the bedroom.
Saying what?
Don't go in the pool.
Oh.
Clear as day.
Except
the mother wasn't home. She was already at work. And it's 5 a.m. Nobody's going swimming.
both of them heard it. Her voice, when she wasn't there.
Yep. Not a random voice, her voice. Was it a shared auditory hallucination? A trick of acoustics? Or something genuinely inexplicable? Hard to say.
Really makes you question your senses. Okay, penultimate one. The drowned girl. New neighbors.
Yeah, this one has that layer of tragedy.
Yeah.
Narrator meets the new neighbors. Seems like they have 2 sons, 2 daughters. One daughter is a quiet brunette girl.
Okay.
Later, the narrator finds this quiet brunette girl playing alone near a dangerous wooded area behind the house. Goes to tell the mother.
And the mother's reaction?
Is strange. She says, "Oh, we only have 1 daughter." The other one, presumably?
Wait, what? She denies the quiet girl exists?
Basically. Then comes the reveal. Turns out, 10 years earlier, a little brown-haired girl had drowned in the swimming pool of that house, and her mother later died of a heart attack, possibly from grief.
Oh my god. So, was the narrator seeing the ghost of the drowned girl?
That's the implication. Especially because the narrator then adds they'd had years of terrifying experiences in that house before these neighbors even moved in. Suggests the place itself was haunted, maybe connected to the drowning.
Chilling. A place marked by tragedy.
Okay, last one for this section. The sweating psychic circle. Another Ouija-type thing.
Yeah, similar vibe. But this focuses more on, intuitive feelings. A friend had a really intense bad experience using this board at her aunt's house. Later, the narrator goes to visit this aunt with a friend.
Okay.
Narrator feels instant dread just arriving at the house. Meets the aunt, and the aunt immediately dislikes the narrator. Just instant animosity.
For seemingly no reason. Then they see the board. Looks ancient, creepy, and the narrator describes it as looking like it was sweating, like damp.
Ew. Okay, that's weirdly visceral.
And the aunt flat out tells the narrator, they don't like you, meaning the spirits connected to the board. They won't answer your questions.
Whoa. Before they even tried using it.
Yeah. Just this immediate sense of negativity directed to the narrator centered around this object. It's more about that intuitive clash, that feeling of bad energy, a cautionary feel about messing with things you don't understand.
Definitely unsettling. So yeah, we've covered a huge range here, haven't we?
Absolutely. From, very concrete human threats where paranoia was justified, to these deeply strange encounters that seem to defy easy explanation.
And what strikes me, looking back at all of them, is that common thread you mentioned earlier.
That initial gut feeling.
Yeah. That sense that something is just wrong. It precedes the actual event, whether it's seeing the man in the doorway or hearing the weird noises or feeling the cold spot, like an internal alarm.
It really raises questions about intuition, doesn't it? Are we picking up on subtle cues? Or is it something else?
And the types of terror are so varied, too. You've got the immediate fear of violence, like the home invasions or the OM car.
Right, then the unsettling ambiguity of the potential paranormal stuff. The figures, the voices, the weird occurrences.
And then there's the way trauma itself can create its own horror, like with the recurring nightmares. It shows fear isn't just one thing.
Absolutely. And you have to wonder about the psychology of it all. Where's the line between genuine intuition and paranoia? How much does fear itself color what we experience?
Yeah, and how desperately our minds try to make sense of it to create a narrative, even if the narrative involves ghosts or conspiracies.
It definitely taps into that wider human fascination with scary stories, with the unexplained. We seem drawn to exploring those edges of reality, even if it's unsettling.
Maybe it helps us feel prepared, or maybe it's just curiosity about the unknown.
Could be both.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what do we take away from this? I think it comes back to trusting your instincts.
Yeah, that gut feeling, even if it's not always 100% accurate about the source of the danger, like the cherries instead of blood.
Right. It still signaled something was off, prompting action.
Yeah.
But you also need that critical thinking, right? Don't jump straight to demons if the floorboards are just creaky.
Yeah, exactly. It's a balance. Trust the feeling, but investigate rationally, too.
It's all part of the complex way we navigate the world, our perceptions, our fears, the seen, the unseen. These stories are just snapshots of when those things collide.
So we've covered a lot. Near misses, truly bizarre events. It really shows how thin that line can be between dismissing something as paranoia and realizing it's a genuine encounter with something unsettling.
Or dangerous,
Yeah.
It makes you appreciate how complex perception is.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Have you ever had that? A time when your gut feeling, that little alarm bell, turned out to be right, but in a way you just couldn't have predicted?
Yeah. What did that teach you? And what do all these stories, these glimpses into other people's moments of fear and unease, tell us about our own awareness?
Are we more sensitive than we think? To dangers, or maybe to things just beyond our normal senses?
It's definitely something to think about. Those moments when your inner voice seems to know something the rest of you doesn't yet. What's really going on there?